I'm Julia Taylor. I'm the CEO and founder of GeekPack. We teach women tech skills, coding, web development, WordPress, digital marketing skills, so that they can take those skills, start their own business, leave a 9 to 5, get a promotion, get a raise, lots of different things they could do with the skills that we teach. But we do it with a supportive community, and that's the kind of the pack in GeekPack. So that's a really important piece to what we do, because when I was learning, I didn't have a community. So it was really important when I set this up that there's a very supportive and encouraging community that goes along with it.
What is your role and experience with STEM?
I have experience from the business that I've built, but I did not have experience in anything techie. I didn't get a degree in tech. I mean, I can remember when I was in high school. Actually, it was early high school. Yes, it was early high school, and I had the option: do I do like an intro to kind of tech computers course, or do I do typewriting, or how learn how to type quicker? And all the girls were doing the typing class. It was not cool for a girl to do the techie class. And I remember in that moment doing what all the other girls were doing, because I wanted to be, popular. I wanted to be, cool. I didn't want to be made fun of. And I can remember kind of thinking how it's such a shame that what I really wanted to do wasn't cool. So, it was just one of those things. And it never really occurred to me until years later. So I do not have much personal experience, either learning it until I started getting into it myself. And now, I mean, my entire business is built on empowering women and girls to learn techie stuff, because I want them to know that it doesn't matter how old you are. So that's my experience or non-experience in it.
What did first get you interested in coding and tech?
So I used to work for the government. I was an intelligence officer for the intelligence community. And back in 2008, I was deployed to Afghanistan. It was my first deployment. And while I was there, I met my now husband, and he was in the military. He was in the British military. So I ended up quitting a job with him and moving to the UK, getting married, and became a military wife, which I'm very proud of, but moved all the time. So I had this great career progression with the government, and then that just took a nosedive. So I was in a random 9 to 5 assistant type job somewhere. And my boss asked me to make a change to a website. And I have no idea to this day why he asked that. But I Googled it. I found some code, which I didn't really know what that was. And I used that code and I put it into the website, and it worked. And it was this magical moment for me where it was kind of hang on, if I just figure that in 5 minutes, like what more could I learn from Google and YouTube if I put some time and effort into it? I really wanted a job that I could do from anywhere. Because we moved all the time. So when I figured this out, I thought, well, I mean, maybe if I learned some tech skills, I would have more opportunities to have a remote job. And this was way pre-COVID. This was, 2014-ish, before kind of remote work was normal.
I think that moment of like discovery and accomplishment that you get when like you learn something, you're like, you didn't picture yourself learning, or you didn't expect it from yourself. And then you're like, wait, I can do this. Like, and that just feels so good. And I think that, if, like you mentioned earlier, girls were expected to do one thing and they didn't do the other. And then, there's that divide, and then they didn't get that moment of like, oh, wait, actually, there's no reason that I shouldn't be doing this.
Absolutely.
So I think encouraging more of those moments.
Yes. That's what we live for in my team and in my community is those moments of, oh my gosh. I mean, whether it's because we have a kids coding camp, whether it's a young girl or a woman in her 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s who has never had that aha moment, and then they have that, and it's just so amazing to get to see them kind of have that light switch of, oh my gosh, my whole life I was told I couldn't do this, or I always thought I wasn't techie, and then all of a sudden I tried it and I can do it. So it's awesome.
from when you first started getting interested into it, how did you decide to found your own company?
um, I never in a million years, I call myself an accidental entrepreneur because it doesn't, like you meet some people or you listen to podcasts with like these famous entrepreneurs and they're like, it runs in my veins. And I was an entrepreneur. I had 10 businesses by the time I was 7 or whatever. Like that is not me at all. I fell into it. And the reason I started what I'm doing, GeekPack, in order to teach and empower and have the community and all that, was actually after my husband retired from the military. We were living in North Carolina at this time, and he retired from the military, and we were like, okay, what's next? So I had my own business that I could do from anywhere, working with clients. And we had this moment of, what's next? Does he get a real job or what? Let's sell everything and move into an RV. And again, we started our RVing in 2018. So this was again pre-COVID.
Yeah.
We sold everything. We moved into an RV and we traveled around the US for a year and a half. And where we live now in Durango, Colorado, we came through here twice in the RV and we loved it. And that was the whole goal of traveling, was where do we want to settle? Because I was originally from Georgia, my husband's from the UK. So we love it out west. So we knew we wanted to be out here. So we're traveling around. And while I'm traveling, I'm on Instagram and I'm kind of sharing about our RV travels and how we're traveling full time. And people would ask me in DMs, how are you able to travel full time? Again, pre-COVID, before all this remote work existed.
Right.
And I said, well, I taught myself tech skills. I taught myself how to code, how to build websites, find clients, marketing myself, and I have my own business. And they all said, I want to learn to do what you've done. Can you teach us? So I thought, okay, well, I don't know how to teach, but I will teach the way that I wish I had been taught. And that's literally how I have built my business to this day is, and I'm not the only instructor now. I have other people on my team who teach tech based on how we wish we'd learned and based on student feedback of how they learn. So I wouldn't say it's unconventional. It's the way that has worked for our community and primarily women adult learners and how it works for them. So it was traveling and people said, we want to learn. And then I started teaching and it turned into a thing. And now it is where it is.
That's so awesome. And it's just really funny that you were like an accidental entrepreneur. I love that like term. But that's really cool. And then what type of projects do you work on now? So do you still work on coding, or is it mostly teaching and running your business? What is your focus?
I love like the doing, and I really quite miss that. That's not really what I get to do anymore. But I also recognize that if I want to grow the business and reach more women, because that's our big vision is more reach, more impact. And I know that those are the sorts of things that I shouldn't be doing anymore. And I have amazing team members who do that and love it and know way more than I do. So my big focus is growing the business, is doing things like this, is doing podcast interviews, YouTube videos, TV shows, magazines. I was up in Grand Junction, Colorado all this past week, networking, building relationships, presenting on stage. So now and as an introvert, this is hard stuff. None of this. I mean, I got home last night and I was just broken because I was on all day for 3 days. And as an introvert, is just exhausting. So, but I know that I know very clearly what GeekPack's mission is and what our vision is. And in order to stand by our mission and reach our vision, that requires me to do things that I'm uncomfortable with, and that is fine. So I am totally okay with me being on video and being on camera and being exhausted at the end of the day, if it means that we have reached one more person. So I very strategically have to keep, and I give myself time off as well. I couldn't do it all the time because just wear me out. But that's probably the biggest part is really how can I go out there and grow the business and achieve our vision that we're trying to. And also I work really closely with my team. We're a team of 7. We're all around the world. And I love the way that I kind of explain it is I will forever pour into my team so that they will then pour into our community of 20,000+, because I can't do that, but they can. And I spend all my energy kind of focused on them and making sure that, they're taken care of and new ideas and strategizing and how can we grow and things like that.
I know that you have a coding camp for kids, and I was wondering if you could talk a bit more about that and how you incorporate empowering messages into learning code.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So it was May of 2020. So couple months after, 6 weeks or so after COVID first hit. And it was right when everyone was kind of like, okay, kids aren't going back to school. And I remember back then, I always wanted to teach kids to code. And I just never had the time, or I didn't know how, or it was never something that I thought could be, like, when was I going to do it? And all of a sudden we were presented with this opportunity where we could create something specifically for kids that they could do from home, because no one knew what, when they were going to be going back to school. So I remember I emailed my email list, which is mostly, there'll be a lot of moms in there, and said, if we create a kids code camp, is that something you're interested in? And I probably had like thousands of yes, 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 yes. I was like, okay, cool. So we know people want it. And when we went for the very first time, we ran it like as a group, and we had prizes, and it was completely free because of COVID. I was like, if I'm going to do anything good, I'm going to do this. So we did that, and it was it's broken up into like a whole bunch of different stuff. We start out with them learning Scratch, which is like a really cool tool for kids to kind of learn how to code and build video games using coding and this software. Completely free, the software is. And then we go into a little bit more like, how do you build websites using coding? So we go into that, and then we have app development, we have creative writing, we have graphic design, we have oh gosh, I should have the list up, but there's so many things in there that are left brain, right brain, mostly kind of techie stuff, and ways that they can build video games and all this, just to give them a taste. Like, is this something that they're going to love? And it's primarily for 8-year-olds and up. And when we launched it back then, and it's still running to this day, there's so many kids who do it with their parents, or kids who do it with their grandparents, and people gifting it. And it really is we want young kids, whether boys or girls, to see that, to have that experience that we talked about, that aha moment of, oh wow, like empowering them to know that they can do this thing and they can love it and they can be really good at it. It could become something that they do more of, or it's just giving them problem solving skills. So we know that kids are on screens, and we wanted them to have a positive screen interaction where they were learning but having a good time, and just empowering them to have that aha moment as early as possible, so they didn't go into early high school like me and choose typing, which I don't even think they offer anymore. But we've come a long way from then, and just giving them that opportunity to give it a go and see if they enjoy it, and be busy on their screens but doing something productive and fun.
It's such a challenge nowadays to deal with technology, because like so many students are on tech all the time, but it's like, how can we have more positive things for you to watch, for you to read, for you to learn and explore in those ways where they are learning problem solving skills and trying out different things,
and not be boring and actually be fun. This is what I know and we've got tons of kid testimonials who've done it and just loved it and so proud of themselves, like, look mom, look what I've built. So that's such a cool thing to see.
What would you say is the most rewarding part of your job?
That aha moment. I mean, we have a lot of very successful students who go on to make really good money. And they leave their 9 to 5 job. They had a terrible boss. They had a terrible commute. They want to be home with their kids. We have all of those success stories, and those are awesome. But it all starts with that first spark, that first moment. And I know when it happened for me, and when I see other people have that, like, yep, that's why we do what we do, is for that first moment, because that's all you need. If you have that first moment, whether you're 8 or 88, it sparks something in you of, if I can do that, what else can I do? And that is just opening up that opportunity. So yeah, I absolutely love that.
What challenges did you face when you were trying to get GeekPack started, and start a tech company?
Marketing has always been a hard one, and I've had coaches that help me, and I like, how do we get our stuff in front of more people? And that's probably been the hardest part, because once people kind of enter our world, I know that we've got that figured out, because we have an amazing team. We have really great core values. We support, we encourage, like, from the moment that someone interacts with us, it's a positive experience. I know that, but it's just getting that first one, and almost that, someone to believe in themselves enough to take a chance on themselves to just try it out. So we have a lot of free resources. We have free live events. We have lots of free stuff to try and get people to kind of take that first, okay, maybe I should try it out, to then have that, oh, light bulb moment. I've tried it out for free. I love it. I want to learn more. But I would say that's always going to be a struggle, is marketing and reaching people. And that's why I do things like this, because, spending all last week at an event and presenting, is you never know who you're going to speak to, who knows someone who might put you in touch with someone who has an audience, or who loves what you're doing and wants to make a bigger impact. I mean, the code camp, that was a ton of work. And like I said, at the time, we ran it for free, and kids loved it. Parents loved it. It was awesome. But that was my time. That was my entire team's time, all the resources, everything we put into it. And from that, I made a relationship with someone that has turned into a phenomenal working relationship to this day, that adds so much value, that is worth its weight in gold. So those sorts of opportunities, I know that me being out and networking and building relationships is really the key of building all this.
Who is your biggest role model or mentor or inspiration?
I remember reading this question, and I've been thinking about it for a while. I was on TikTok, and I still am on TikTok, but I was on TikTok, and this was months ago when I was on there, and I saw a TikTok video, and it said in this TikTok video, the two most important people in your life is the 8-year-old version of yourself and the 88-year-old version of yourself. So my inspiration is the 88-year-old version of myself. Will my 88-year-old version of myself be proud of me with what I'm doing now? And that keeps me doing the things that I'm doing, because I want the 88-year-old version of myself to be proud of what I've done. It's so easy to, there's a lot of amazing women out there who've done phenomenal things. So I could name, a gazillion different people. But I know where I want to take this business, and I know what it will look like in the future, and how I will be proud of that in the future. And it's interesting, because it's not just business success, it's personal success as well. What do I want my own personal life to look like? We talk about work-life balance a lot. My older version of myself, will she look back on the life that I've led, the personal relationships, the business I've built, the team that I've had, the successes, the ups and downs? Will my 88-year-old version of myself be proud of what I've done. And if I can say yes to that with every decision that I make in life, I'm pretty sure that's how I determine that I'm winning at life. So yeah, I know it's a bit of an odd one, but if I point to another female entrepreneur or someone, well, I don't know what their personal life is like. Like, are they just happy on the outside? Is it all just for show? You just never know nowadays. Whereas I know in myself what makes me happy and what makes me feel like I've been successful. So if I stay on that track, and you hear the phrase all the time, don't compare yourself to others, compare yourself to yourself from yesterday. So I'm kind of reversing that, where I where I was yesterday and where I am today, as so long as I'm continuing to do things that make me a better person, my business a better business, my team a better team, my personal life better, then that is success. And if I can look ahead until I'm 88 and go, okay, how do I make decisions to make her proud? Awesome. So that's what I'm trying to kind of do with it.
No, yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up because that wasn't something I had heard before. So I think that's a really useful tool for like self-reflection and thinking about it. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And then finally, what advice would you give to people who want to go into STEM or tech?
Oh my gosh. Go for it. So what I would say is, if you're gonna give it a go, ideally find a community of like-minded people to know that you can ask questions in a safe environment without feeling stupid. Because that, I think, at least for women adult learners, so older, 25, 30 plus, we are scared to death to ask a question and feel like it's a stupid question, terrified. So if you are going to get into tech or STEM and you're terrified of asking a stupid question, find a community where those don't exist, because you will succeed faster. You will have quicker wins. You will get through and you will do the things and you will not be stuck. Because when you get stuck and frustrated and you feel embarrassed, you'll probably give up. That's what most people do. So finding a community where there's no such thing as a stupid questions. People are supportive, encouraging. You will succeed, and you'll succeed quicker.
Thank you so much for talking with me today.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Sharing your experience and sharing about your business.
Yeah, you're very welcome. It was a pleasure. Thank you.